Ask a group of whitetail hunters their favorite day of the year and you're bound to hear November 7th a time or two. With the first real wave of does coming into estrus, the 7th and the days that surround it become an easy choice. Bucks now travel non-stop in search of a receptive doe, and then after tending that doe, they will immediately begin to search again. On the morning of November 7th, Mike Reed is sitting in a stand on his new farm, observing a nearby field.
It's that. I've got a bunch of pictures of him. He's got a little Nicker 4. Looks fairly mature. His tongue's hanging out. November, baby. Good morning. We have a beautiful morning here in Iowa. It's November 7th. Mid-40s, south-southwest wind. Feels nice and cool. And Ryan and I are down at the River Bottom Farm. We've got a great setup on this bluff, blowing our wind back over the river here. And we're already having a great hunt. We've had a hot doe come through the CRP here in front of us and have had 2 bucks on her. One is a more mature. He's basically an 8-pointer. He's got a little Nicker 4. I think he might, be a scoreable 9. And then that deer's a little more mature. And then a nice younger 10, really beautiful 10. I think he's just a 3-year-old. I've got pictures of both those deer. Heard some antlers clashing together early this morning, and wasn't sure if it was another hunter on the neighboring property or what. And then all of a sudden, out popped those deer. So pretty cool to see that. We're going to sit in here for a while this morning. We're in a great spot for cruising, just being right here on the river. Lots of uninterrupted country in this area, so nice to have a doe come through early. I mean, I imagine that we can see bucks on that trail most of the day, so we're going to sit in here. The primary buck that I'm looking to lay eyes on is that dagger buck, but there's lots of good bucks in the area. Anyway, we're going to get quiet again. Hopefully the action continues.
"20 miles to the northeast, Kaleb Greiner is also on stand, looking to repeat his recent action-packed hunt.
Well, good morning, guys. I'm back at the hog farm today. I sat here yesterday and I had an amazing sit. I got in at about noon, right after I took Casey at the home farm in the morning. And ever since I got in and got set up, I had deer moving everywhere. There's bucks chasing, bucks grunting, a little bit of fighting. Man, sweet November, baby, it's here. But it was my first hunt where I really felt like rut has finally kicked in. Things have been really, really slow for me down here in southeast Iowa. The buck that I'm after is a deer that I call Heavy 10. Yesterday, I encountered him up on this ridge to my south. I had him on camera on the cuttybacks that morning, and I was hoping he would filter his way back to the north, but it looked like he had a doe up there. Through some snort wheezes, some grunts, couldn't see the doe at first, so I just assumed that he had the doe with him. Sure enough, he brought that doe a little bit down, and I thought I didn't have footage of him, but I went back home, and it looks like I have a couple seconds of footage of him. I couldn't see anything through this thick timber, so I might consider a move here in the middle of the day if things slow down a little bit to that spot. I really feel like that might be the spot that I'm gonna kill something on this farm, just because all these trail systems kind of filter down in there. There's a lot of deer that were working that ridge yesterday. Hoping today is just as good as yesterday. We'll see, you guys. Well, it's about 9 o'clock, and what a fun morning it's been so far. I hear crashing and thrashing over here to my right, and it was hooks and heavy 10. We're chasing a doe and a fawn with about 3 other little bucks. Just absolute chaos. Try to get the camera on, get on them. I couldn't. Going so fast in this timber. It's so funny. Anyways, he disappeared for about 20 minutes or so. And then he popped back up right in front of me by himself. And I was so shocked. I was surprised. I didn't know what happened. I tried start losing at him real quick. So about another 30 minutes after that, I filmed a little buck cruising this grass strip back behind me, and shortly after, a heavy 10 came right behind him. And I probably should not have grunted. I really probably shouldn't have. I knew he was probably going to circle downwind of me, and that's exactly what he did. He came to about 15 yards. I had to flip the camera to the other side of the tree, get on him. By the time I got on him, he was right here, basically right under the tree. And it looked like he got my wind. He got a little spooky. He worked off to about 60 yards, 40 yards, somewhere in there. So I think I'm going to elect to change my stand location. I just had Heavy 10 Jr. come right to the base of the tree again, and he got my wind. It's frustrating. Decisions.
While Kaleb ponders his next move, back on the CRP field, Mike is wrapping up his morning.
It's about 10:30. We're going to start packing up. Nice hunt. It's cool to see those 2 bucks. We're going to make a move back to the home farm. I'm planning on staying after Chubbs for sure in the afternoons. The mornings have been really slow on the home farm, and I'm starting to think that sometimes going in there in the morning is affecting our afternoon sits. I've mentioned that before, so I think I might be bouncing around a little bit on morning hunts and then focusing on Chubbs more in the afternoon. So anyway, we're going to start getting packed up and head back over there, and we'll see you guys there.
They smell good at least.
Despite solid action enjoyed by other team members, the morning of November 7th was slow for Jared Mills. He sits the entire morning, calling regularly, but without the appearance of a buck. The afternoon of November 7th finds Collins Marine and his girlfriend Elizabeth sitting along a river bottom hoping for rut cruising action.
It is November 7th, and Elizabeth and I are getting a little bit of a late start this morning. I think it's about 11 o'clock now, but we're back down on one of the river bottom farms, actually the same farm that we hunted last night. And the reason that we're late to the stand today is Elizabeth hit a buck last night on one of the food plots, came right into the decoy right at last camera light, and she got what I thought was a good hit right away. And we looked back at the footage, and it looked like it was a little too close to the shoulder. And after looking for blood and looking for the deer, doing some grid search and talking to other people, I think we've come to the conclusion that it's just a shoulder hit, and that deer should survive. So fingers crossed that he shows back on camera. But we got a little bit of time this afternoon to hunt, November 7th, heart of the rut. Hopefully we can catch a buck cruising this afternoon. We're going to sit tight. It's pretty warm, so it's going to be a comfortable sit. Hopefully we see something, but if not, it's just nice to be out here. It's coming right here. See him? Right here, babe, on the creek. He's at 17. Wait for him to get. Have to let him get past us a little bit, okay? Alright, put it right behind his shoulder. Hang on, I'll stop him. Meh. You smoked him. Talk about close.
I would have rather shot him when he was right there.
I wanted him close, babe. Oh my goodness. She shot that deer at noon. November 7th. They are cruising. We just got done watching this little buck. He's been in and out of here all morning. And then we just waited for this buck to, I'm still flustered. I can't believe it just worked like that. We were kind of down on the dumps this morning, you know. The buck that she hit last night, clean shoulder hit. We didn't find much blood. Trailed him. Did not find him. He is still alive. I'm 100% sure of it, just based on the shot and the amount of blood that we found and the way he acted after he left. I mean, but then we came in here and set up. The deer came right under the stand, as you guys saw. She did so good. I told her to draw back, thinking he was going to come by at 15, and he ends up coming straight down to the base of the tree, essentially. Luckily, he turns and goes to the right, and I stopped him, and it looks like she drilled him. I told him, keep it back from that shoulder right before we got in here, and she did that, and blood was coming out as he was walking up through there. He was panting real hard, which means lungs, I'm hoping. So we're going to look back at the footage and see what it looks like, but I think I feel a lot more confident on this one, I'll tell you that. Oh, good job. Yes. He is stiffer than a board too. That is awesome. Fortunately, Elizabeth is at work, but she is tagged out, so we're gonna get this thing taken care of. Yes. Gotta call some people now.
Did you find it?
Sure did.
Yes!
He's
He
here.
was dead?
Oh yeah, he's stone dead. He died last night. He's stiff. Oh.
Oh, I'm so happy.
You know, I'm just super proud of Elizabeth for this. After that hit, or that shot that she had on Saturday night, I know it's hard to get that confidence back, especially after you don't find a deer. And then going into this one, she never gave up hope. I don't know, she's been practicing all year, and it's just a tough part about shooting those low poundage bows. You know, this is her first year bow hunting. As you guys know, it's tough getting that weight drawn back, and she's shooting right around 38, 40 pounds, and I think this for next year we're going to practice and hopefully get a little more, so that way we don't have to worry about anything close to the shoulders. Hopefully it'll be enough to penetrate, but obviously it was enough to kill this deer, and I couldn't be more happy and proud of Elizabeth. And hopefully this is just the beginning. You know, November 7th was a pretty dang good day. We've been having a ton of good encounters. I know the team's been having some good luck the last few days, but I could not be more proud of her. And one thing I did want to mention is we've got a lot of history with this deer. I've actually got 3 years of history with him, and me and Kaleb encountered him last year, not too far from where Elizabeth actually shot him, and he ended up showing back up this year as a 5.5-year-old. Actually got the first trail cam pictures of him this summer, probably 50 yards from where she killed this deer. So that's pretty cool, just to have good history with the deer and to get a big mature buck like this down on the ground, especially for your first bow deer ever. I don't think you could ask for much more. But we're going to be getting out a bunch here coming up, and a lot of good days ahead. So hopefully we can bring you guys some more action, and thank you for watching Midwest Whitetail.
After making the midday adjustment, Kaleb Greiner is back on stand, hoping to get another chance at one of the target bucks that roam these gorgeous hardwood ridges.
Well, I just got up the tree. This is where he's been the past two days. The cutty back camera where he was on yesterday morning is right down here to my right. There's a big trail crossing right there and a little bit to the east of that spot. Who knows what we're gonna see. Probably see Happy 10 a couple more times. Hopefully this time we can get a shot. But nonetheless, it was still pretty cool. It's about 4 o'clock now. It's been about 4 hours since I made that stand change, about 100 yards to the south of where I was this morning. And so far, it's not been terrible. I mean, the deer movement is just starting to pick up. I just had a really nice 4-year-old come to the stand about 30 yards away, and I haven't named that deer whatsoever. He's been around all summer, and he shows a lot of potential. He could explode maybe next year. My expectations are to have deer coming from the north, going out to the ag, and then probably see quite a few deer out in this corn back behind me again. We'll let the night unfold, and we've got some does up here in front of me right now. Looks like they're kind of working their way down this ridge, so I'm just gonna get quiet, sit back, and enjoy the evening.
While Kaleb settles in, looking forward to what the evening may hold, 35 miles to the northwest, Mike Reed ensures everything is dialed in before making another attempt at Chubbs.
3 o'clock. It's about 3 o'clock. We are back at the home farm in the skybox set after Chubbs. It's hot, 65, 67 degrees, south wind. We've already had a little buck, that real pretty young lopsided 10 that we filmed earlier in the year. He just came through the back of the plot. This is Chubbs' most active area on camera, so I'm committed to hunting him here for a little bit. Hopefully he shows up tonight. Encounter number 3 with Chubbs. Don't feel like we had much of a chance there. He popped into the food plot and just walked straight across the back. And I mean, he had seemingly a destination in mind. As quick as I realized it was him, I stood up and just got him in the glass, and he was moving. So I tried to doe bleed, thinking that if there was a doe down here, he might want to come check it out, but he couldn't hear it. And so I just snort wheezed with my mouth, and I had him in the binos. I mean, he definitely heard me. He looked this direction, hesitated for 3 seconds, then kept walking. So I threw a couple grunts back behind us and did a quick little rattle just to see if I could entice him. We had that young 10 come out of there like right before he popped out. And so he knows that a buck had moved down here. He's hoping to kind of paint a picture of, a doe being down here and the buck's kind of getting after it, but I don't think he's a deer that I can successfully call to, and it just doesn't seem like Chubbs is the most dominant deer out here. The 6x5 beat him on the 29th, and I'm sure Big Mac can push him around too. So we'll see. It's nice to see him again. I mean, we're definitely honing in on where he wants to be. Hopefully it makes a reappearance, but if not, we'll see you guys next time we're out.
With the odds of Chubbs making another appearance low, Mike licks his wounds, waiting on the cover of darkness to sneak out. Back in the hardwoods, things are getting interesting for Kaleb Greiner.
Well, I'm starting to think that this deer might have 9 lives, but I'm not really sure what the audio is going to tell, but he came in perfectly. I had a little buck right behind me, so I couldn't move very much, and the way that this stand is situated, I had the camera all across my body, so I had to draw back really, really weird, and as soon as I drew back, I got about halfway there and my shoulder popped out. My bow kind of made a funky noise, and I think I got the wind knocked out of me a little bit. But he ran back towards the fence, maybe about 15, 20 yards. Just sat there, didn't really know what was going on. Came out to about 30 yards, presented an opportunity, and I know my bow's on. I know for a fact because I shot it this morning before I came out. I don't like excuses. I'm not really sure what went wrong. I have my 30-yard pin on and buried on that shoulder right behind it, but my release just felt really weird. It's frustrating, but that's deer hunting.
It just doesn't seem like Chubbs is the most dominant deer out here. The 6x5 beat him on the 29th, and I'm sure Big Mac can push him around too. So we'll see. It's nice to see him again. I mean, we're definitely honing in on where he wants to be.
You smoked him. Talk about close. That's pretty cool, just to have good history with the deer and to get a big mature buck like this down on the ground, especially for your first bow deer ever. I don't think you could ask for much more.
Well, I'm starting to think that this deer might have 9 lives.
Another day has come and gone, leaving behind some incredible memories. Regardless of prior experience, We feel that there is a degree of luck involved in every harvest. We make educated guesses, but at the end of the day, the bucks do whatever they please. We do our best to control what we can and leave the rest up to luck. Nothing in this sport is certain, and nothing is set in stone. The only fact that we know to be true is that tomorrow will bring new challenges and new opportunities, and that is why we love chasing November.